Okay, so recently attended a seminar, an event, where the bulk of it was about legacy planning. And it's a bit of a paradigm shift because when we talk about legacy planning, if you're behind the camera and you're watching this, you might be one of those people like, well, that's legacy planning is only for the rich and wealthy. And we only think about it in monetary terms and assets. However, there's everything else that is also a legacy play. And I would argue that the everything else is far more valuable than the money and assets. And you technically don't even have to have money and assets to do legacy planning. So we went through an exercise when I was down in Punta Cana, and here's how it works. And I want to see if you pick up on a common theme here. One, what is the family vision statement? And this is the transfer zone. So there's 4 different legs to a legacy planning, and this is the first one, which is called the transfer zone. So what is the guiding purpose and direction of our family? Did you pick up on anything when it came to money there? No. So you want to create a statement that captures the heart of your home. What your family stands for, believes in, and hopes to embody together. Again, has nothing to do with money. So an example prompt of that would be, we are a family that values relationships, shows love, and strives to protect others. Again, nothing to do with money. Then you've got your top 5 core values. This will take a little bit of thinking and a little bit of collaboration with your family members, but what are your top 5 core values? What are your 5 non-negotiables? It could be faith. It could be, obviously your family. It could be blessing others. It could be raw honesty, bluntness, and transparency. It could be growth over comfort. These are some of mine, but you come up with your own. So what are your 5 core values as a family? Values? Does that have anything to do with money? No. Then also, and this is really the transfer zone, or not the transfer zone, but the transfer of knowledge. People to whom I intentionally want to transfer knowledge to. I would easily argue that knowledge is far more valuable than giving somebody money, because money without the knowledge, they don't know what to do with it. So knowledge is far more valuable than just giving somebody assets and something of monetary value. So when it comes to transferring knowledge, whose lives am I directly shaping by how I live and led? So that could be your wife, that could be your children, that could be your employees, that could be your extended family. So again, knowledge, does that cost money? Sometimes. If you want a life hack and you want to shortcut the line and get in front and hire a mentor to get even more knowledge, sometimes that's money. But once you have the knowledge, you can continuously use it in your life, and by passing it on to someone else, it doesn't cost a single penny. So that's knowledge. And then also, what is the master legacy statement? What do I want my life to ultimately communicate and leave behind? So this is your personal why, a statement you'd want read at your memorial or repeated for generations to come. Here's an example prompt. I want to be remembered as someone who blank, who led with blank and always blank. Does that have anything to do with money? No. Family systems that support legacy. What rhythms, routines, or practices help anchor our family legacy? So think regular family dinners, family devotions, vacations, hospitality, shared work, honoring the Sabbath, annual traditions that you may have. This is part of your legacy. So maybe it's a weekly family check-in. Maybe it's serving together, whether it's a missions trip or volunteering somewhere. Yearly family vision retreat. Maybe as a family you go on a vacation somewhere and spend time together and also talk about these ideas. And then lastly, the one-day test. What do I hope is said about me one day? Imagine your grandchildren, maybe your child, giving a toast at your 80th birthday party or memorial service. So a prompt would be, because of you, I learned to blank. I saw you consistently doing this, or your life taught me that blank. That's the one-day test. So in summary, when we talk about legacy planning, none of this talked about money. Nothing talked about assets. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be wealthy. The things that you can pass down to generations to come is far more valuable than any type of wealth or lack thereof you ever created. So hopefully this helps. Get started on your legacy and your mission statement and your family statement. Take care. God bless.